Welcome to the High School Head Coaches in Jacksonville series. You're watching the Where So podcast, hosted by me, Chandler Danzler. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or watch on YouTube. Today we have Oakleaf High School head coach Matt Carter. We're pumped to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on. I'm glad to be a part of this series. You do a good job, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, man, for sure. All right, before we kind of start talking a little bit about your career, a little bit about coaching, I like to ask this question here first. Who is Matt Carter, and how would you introduce yourself?
I'm a follower of Jesus. I'm a husband. I'm a father, and then baseball coach. So I'm blessed to get to do what I do and make an impact.
For sure. All right, let's talk a little bit about your career. Can you kind of walk us through your baseball career all the way up from Eagles View up to Trinity Baptist College?
Yeah, I played high school baseball at Eagles View Academy. Graduated in 2014. We won a district championship 2013. But I was more of a role player in high school. I was never the best player on the field. And I think that kind of impacted me in my coaching. And then went to Trinity Baptist College. Kind of the same thing. Was more of a leader, hard worker. Was never the best player on the field. Was just fortunate enough to have good high school coaches, and I learned a lot from the game. And that's kind of how I was. I was an academic All-American, which just means you're smart.
Awesome.
Doesn't mean you're the greatest player. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my journey. And I could play a little bit, but it was more about the mental side for me and the academics, so which really shaped towards my coaching journey.
Yeah, for sure. All right, during college, you kind of started your coaching career a little bit early. Started coaching travel ball for FCA and the Dodgers. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what kind of got you into coaching?
Well, I knew I wanted to coach ever since I was younger because I knew I wasn't the greatest player, but I knew a lot about the game, and I had a lot of the mental side of the game. So I wanted to impact the game and help guys like yourself and other players understand you can be as talented as you want, but if you don't understand the mental side of the game, you're going to struggle. So that's kind
For
of
sure.
that was my journey and understanding that I could help. And ever since I was young, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be on a baseball field as long as I could.
That's awesome. All right, after that, you then started coaching for Trinity Baptist College. What was kind of your role there, and what was it like kind of coaching at the school you played at?
Well, my role, I was an assistant recruiting coordinator. The head recruiting coordinator was John Shiver. He's a head coach, or he's an assistant coach at Olivet Nazarene right now. But my job was just to work with the infielders, help with recruiting, and just be whatever coach needed me to be. Coach Copeland's the head coach. Whatever he needed, that was my role as an assistant. And to coach where I played, it was good because I had some familiarity with the kids, and they knew me, I knew them. That some of them were teammates, so it helped me because they knew I was there for the right reasons to help them, and also started my coaching journey as a good resume starter.
For sure. All right, after coaching at Trinity, you then started coaching at Baldwin at the age of 23. Can you talk a little about that and what it was like being that young of a head coach?
Yeah, to some people you might think it's a challenge, but for me and kind of how I operate and the guys I have coached with me, our task was to more, hey, let's not show anybody that we're young. They can tell that we're young based off if they look at us, but how we run the program, how we care for the kids, how we help them get to the next level. They should never say, "Oh, he's 23, he doesn't know what he's doing." That was kind of how that was more of the challenge, is proving to people that doesn't matter our age. We have a solid program. We know what we're doing, and we're here to help your kids.
For sure. At your second year at Baldwin, you guys went 14-15. Can you tell us a little about that team and the season you guys had?
Yeah, that team was interesting. We won 14 games, but we probably blew 7 games from like the 6th inning on. So I always joke around, if we had a closer, we win 20 games and we're going far. But we were kind of up and down early on. Then we started playing well, and we started the whole season. The whole speech was, "Let's get ready for Trinity at the end of the year." And that's kind of what the guys did, and they got ready. And we were on the other end, or we ended up being on the same side of the district that year, which we thought we would be on the other. So we game planned for it being the district championship game, but ended up being the semifinal. We upset Trinity for the first time in I don't remember how long, but that's what that team remembers. Really is. That's what it's about. I know we lost to Keystone, who we already beat twice in the district championship. But those kids, they remember beating Trinity and going to the state playoff and playing bowls. So that's what
For
that team
sure.
was.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, what do you think the biggest challenge was moving from an assistant coach at a college to being a head coach at a high school?
Um, the biggest challenge was really, as the head coach, your job is to control the environment every single day. Whether if you want to be there or not, because everybody's human. You have good days, you have bad days. But as the
For
head
sure.
coach, you have to control the environment. As an assistant coach, it'd be easy sometimes where, it's not my best day, but I'm just going to go here and hit some fun goes and throw my BP, and that's it.
Yeah,
As a head coach, you don't have that luxury. You have to be locked in every single day, or the kids can feed off of that energy. So that was the biggest transition is no matter what, I have to control this environment as the head coach.
for sure. For sure.
Thank you to the sponsor of this series, For Him Glove Company, a company that started back in 2021. They offer up to fully custom gloves for baseball, fast pitch softball, and slow pitch softball. They offer 9.5-inch to 15-inch gloves. They also offer 20 different colorways and design patterns, as well as trainer gloves, pancake gloves, first base gloves, infield outfield gloves, as well as catcher gloves. The leather options are cowhide, American kip, and Japanese kip. They also offer keychains and koozies and more things coming soon. Make sure you guys check out forhimglovecompany.com for some good affordable prices.
All right, in 2021, you got the job at Oakleaf High School. What was kind of your mindset coming into Oakleaf and the brand new team?
The mindset is that we're going to work. Some of the outside conception about Oakleaf was there's a lot of talent there, but kids are entitled. They don't work the hardest, stuff like that. So the mindset coming to Oakleaf was we already have baseball talent. Let's just attack the process. Let's attack the mental side of it and how we go about the game. And then that's when you start to see Oakleaf be what everybody thought they could be. And that's what we've
Yeah,
kind of done
definitely.
the last few years.
For sure. All right. In your first season at Oakleaf, you guys went 16-10. And as of today, you guys are 6-5. What's kind of the difference between this year's team and the past team?
Yeah, so the first team was a little different. The first team was a little bit of combination of hit and run, small ball, with a couple guys who can, Leo Diaz, who could hit 5 or 6 home runs in a year. The second year, so last year's team was 19-6. That team was we can explode at any point. Our offense was really good. Devin Dizon, Devin Outlaw. You name some of the guys that can go down the line. 8 college commits off of that team.
Jeez.
We just didn't have the pitching depth. Like we had guys who could throw, but it was really you got Jordan Clark or you got McDonald. That's kind of what we were. And if they were on, we got a really good shot. And then this team right now, we don't have the long ball. Like we're not going to hit 10 home runs as a team. We're not going to hit a bunch of doubles. We're going to run. We're going to play defense, and we have a bunch of guys that can throw it. So we have multiple guys who are 85 plus, which in high school baseball, it gives you a chance.
For sure, for sure. All right. What was kind of like your biggest goal for this team this year? What was your goal coming into the season?
Our goal is always to, I don't know if you know this or not, but Oakleaf has never won a district championship. So as much talent that's come through here, as many guys that are in college, there's still a goose egg on the district championship. So that's always the goal, but we're kind of going about it different this year. Past 2 years, that was our all end, all be all. Like we're getting that no matter what, and we came short. So this year, let's just control what's in front of us. That's our goal. Be where your feet are, control every single day. Care for the guy next to you. So that's our goal. We're trying to play more team baseball, and we're hoping that pays off in the back end.
Gotcha. That's awesome. All right. What was it like being nominated head coach of the year for 2 years in a row? Can you tell us a little bit about that and what that kind of means to you?
Personally, I don't really like the attention on me because I tell the guys it's your program. This is what you want to make of it. I just receive some of the credit or sometimes the flack for how hard we work as a group. So, but at the same time, it is kind of nice to get because it is voted on by your peers. It's voted on by other head coaches in the area. So other coaches noticed what we've done the past couple of years at Oakleaf from what the perception was years ago. So we've kind of flipped that, but it's a credit to the kids. But it does mean a lot to be voted by your other peers as a good coach in the area.
Sure. For sure. Congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
What was kind of been your favorite memory of the last 3 years at Oakley?
My favorite memory, there's a few of them. Like the players will tell you, like last year it was beating St. John's in a 10-inning game where everybody's friends off the field. So it's a heated game. But my favorite memory personally is signing day. When we had signing day and watching all 8 of the guys sign and they give their speeches in front of the school. Just seeing, as a coach, you see, oh man, they got it. They didn't always.
Yeah.
But hearing
awesome.
the work that they say about the team and the program, the help that I and the other coaches have done for them, that's my favorite memories, because that's what it's for. You guys want to play college baseball, or even if you don't, seeing you guys become better young men through the program, that's what we want.
For sure. All right, what do you think the biggest challenge of coaching high school baseball is?
I'd say the biggest challenge is having players understand that there's a bunch of external noise, and it's harder every single year. So we define external noise as it could be anything outside of our circle. So that's, you have social media, you have your girlfriends, you have parents, and parents are a big help. But sometimes in a team atmosphere, sometimes parents can be external noise of, oh, you should be playing or you should be doing this, when we're trying to identify our role. We live in Florida. You can play baseball 10, 11 months out of the year, probably 12. For this short stretch, we need the best team. So if you're the 4th outfitter, that's what you are. If you're the first guy at the 10th, that's what you are. So that's kind of the biggest challenge nowadays, is getting kids to understand our role, because they're all used to, it's all about me, and trying to fight for that.
For sure. All right, Jacksonville's so lucky to have the great coaches they have. What do you think makes a great high school baseball coach?
I coach a little differently than a lot of coaches. In my opinion, what makes a great high school coach is, first, someone that understands it's about the kids. It's about their high school experience. And so in my opinion, if you can give you don't want to give power to the kids, but you want them to have some ownership in the program. You want them to feel like they have a say in what goes on. And at the same time, a coach that can put his foot down too. So you don't want to be too much of a player's coach where they're walking all over you. But at the end of the day, the kids work harder because they know you want them to have fun. You want them to get better, but there are standards and expectations. So a coach that can do both of those, that's what I would think is a great high school coach.
For sure. All right. As a coach, you have to coach different types of players, several types of players. The D1 commits, the kids still waiting on an offer, or the kids that might just want to play high school baseball. How do you manage coaching these different levels of your athletes?
Yeah, so for me and any other coach that listens, try not to get caught up in that. You have to be worried. For us, we preach about the process, preach about your daily environment. So control that as a coach. Our environment it can include anybody. You can be a Division I guy, you can be just drafted. We're going to work hard every day. This is what we're doing. We're going to teach you how to handle adversity and failure. So even if you're just going to go get a job after and you're not going to go to school or whatever, you've learned principles in our program that'll help you become a better. So, or, at the end of the day, you're going to be a better baseball player, whether if you want to or not, based off our environment.
For sure. All right, I've learned so much from my coaches, some lessons that I'll kind of carry into my everyday life. How is it important to you to coach your kids on and off the field?
To me, that's why I coach personally. From a young age, I think coaching is a calling, and that's what I wanted to do. That's what I felt like I was meant to make an impact. I always wanted to be the coach that I wish I had. So to me, that's the main part why I do it. The baseball's an extra piece. That's great. But I know I'm not the greatest X's and O's coach. I know I'm not the greatest, I don't have the greatest connections, but I have some. But at the end of the day, I'm going to care about you and on and off the field. That's why I'm in it.
Definitely, for sure. All right, as a coach's perspective, how important is it to you to see players be able to accept failure?
Well, it's huge because it's not common. It's people understand when kids are upset when they fail, but at the same time, we want to preach to them. We have to learn through failure. We have to compose ourselves. We can't ride the emotional roller coaster. You can't let your highs be too high, your lows be too low. We just got to trust the work, and that's kind of what we preach. So whenever kids do understand that, because it takes time. Not everybody understands how to handle it right away. But as a coach, see somebody that gets it, you understand that's what we want to see.
Definitely. All right. What are kind of some things you learned as a baseball player that helped you become a better coach?
So coming from, I wasn't the greatest. Okay, it doesn't mean I was terrible, but I've seen guys who were really good and see how they could handle failure is different from everybody handles things differently. So, or
Definitely.
like you have leaders on your team, your best player is not always the best leader because they can't understand how that guy can't hit that ball that way, or you can't understand how he can't get to that baseball. So just preaching the message of everybody has a role and everybody can be a leader. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Doesn't matter the talent level. Leadership is not equivalent to talent.
For sure. For sure. All right. Kind of like to talk about relationships you can build while playing baseball. With you being a head coach, can you talk a little about the relationships you have built while just being in the game of baseball?
Yeah, I mean, I try to tell people all the time, baseball is not just a game. It's opportunity, it's friendships, it's
Yeah.
avenues to everything that happens. I mean, I went to Trinity Baptist, and 4 of my groomsmen were teammates. And through going to TBC, I met my wife's sister, who ended up showing me to my wife. And I mean, so like,
That's awesome.
and then jobs that I've gotten through people I know in high school or high school teammates that are still friends, and they have businesses, and I help them get going in
Yeah.
other areas. I mean, baseball is more than a game, and it's like you said, it's all about relationships. That's what we do it for. On the other, that's what we're called to do. It's about relationships. So yeah, I tell people it's not just a game. Take it seriously. Take how you treat people seriously in the game, because you don't
For sure.
know 5 years from now if you just meet somebody one time on a field, they'll remember that. So
Definitely. Definitely. All right. We got a few questions left here. What do you kind of do in your free time outside of baseball, outside of sports? When you're not at the field, what are you doing?
yeah, well, I'm married and I have a son right now, so my life kind of I'm going to the zoo a lot recently.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of stuff that I never thought I'd want to do,
Uh,
um, but aside from that, I like to play a lot of golf. I
mm,
play a lot of pickup sports. If we're playing pickup basketball, football, I'm trying to stay active. So
yeah,
that's mainly
sure.
what I do. I try to be on the golf course as much as I can. So
That's
that's my
awesome.
favorite thing to do is golf.
That's great. All right. Well, how's the game of baseball kind of helped you become a better person in life?
We talked about some of it, learning adversity. Um, yeah, everybody experiences it differently, but I think baseball is the greatest example of a sport. We fail way more than on the baseball field than we succeed, but you can still be good. And it's
Yep.
kind of the same thing for life. We're going to fail a lot more. There's going to be a lot more negatives. But if we can mentally handle that when the positives do come, we're ready, or we can
Definitely.
help others. We can help others through the negatives. So baseball is the greatest example.
For sure. All right. What advice do you kind of give younger kids wanting to play high school baseball? They're out there right now watching these high school games. What advice do you give to them wanting to play?
Learn how to hit a curveball. I'm joking. Um, I would say understand the process. And I know it seems kind of cliche, but you got to live in the weight room. You got to treat your body like an investment if you want to play a high level baseball. If you just want to
For
be on
sure.
the team, you can go to the cage, you can do this, that, and the other. But if you want to play the game at a high level, you got to be bigger, stronger, faster. And you have to
For
take
sure.
care of yourself. You have to take care of your body. And then on the flip side, I would really work on being a good teammate. Not many people talk about that. Like the coaches who get it, they talk about it. But like to the
Hmm.
average John coming up, it's hey, you just got to be as good as you can be, which
Yeah.
is fine. But you need to be a better teammate because in high school baseball, we're trying to win. It's not just about your
For sure.
stats, not just about whatever. And you could be a shortstop your whole life, but guess what? You're playing left field, and how you
Yep.
handle that matters. So that's kind of the biggest
Exactly.
thing. Be a good teammate and trust the process.
For sure. All right, Matt. Thank you for coming on the podcast and good luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.